Let's check in on another Trump press gaggle, this time in Air Force One, where he had a few different people around him. You're going to see Witkoff, there's Pete Hegseth, and in a very rare moment, I saw someone reference this. If you keep up with Trump press conferences, Trump will say anything. He'll be like, we've brought in $300 trillion of investment. And then he'll look over and be like, right, Howard? And Howard will be like, yeah. Or, I'm seeing polling that I'm the most popular president ever. Right, Marco? And Marco's like, yeah. And then in this situation, even Pete Hegseth, even in this context where they almost always just affirm the accuracy, even if it's completely inaccurate, other things Trump says, even he has to go, when Trump tries to say that the strike, as we get more evidence, and now multiple news outlets have provided evidence and reported on the strike that killed a bunch of schoolgirls, children in Iran during one of the first waves of Israeli-U.S. strikes. And Pete Hegseth can't get him to say, yeah, Trump, you're right, when Trump says, oh, that was an Iranian strike.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done by Iran. Because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
So Trump's just asserting that. Now we have tons of evidence that that's not true. And seemingly all the major outlets have confirmed that what Trump is saying there is not true. And so, of course, it's the case that the Iranian regime does horrible things to civilians. And calling that out is very important. And whenever it is our government, based on Trump's decisions, who I'm assuming accidentally massacres a bunch of kids, that's important as well. And we have to hold our government to account. And it emphasizes why war and Trump so carelessly and irrationally and irresponsibly pulling us into a war with very little plan can have disastrous consequences. New video appears to show U.S. missile hitting Iranian girls' school, killing 175 people. That's from the New York Times. Just the quickest pause for the video amid all of this chaos. If you do appreciate these updates, please click the subscribe button, click the like button. Both of those are completely free, but subscribe is the most important to support what we do. Back to the video. Then we get to another part of this press conference when thinking, what does victory look like? Which we keep asking. Trump says it's a complete unconditional surrender, which if you're saying this could all be done and wrapped without boots on the ground very quickly, as you try to assure people this won't be the quagmire we are fearful that it would turn into, then saying you have to get a complete unconditional surrender out of the Iranian regime that is now just led by Khomeini's son, Khomeini, seems to contradict to that, because that takes a lot of war.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? What do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they
That's what he said.
cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer, there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
So do you see what I mean? That originally you had some who were defending these actions going, this is going to be kind of like Midnight Hammer, right? Limited strike, troops get home, that's it. It's not going to turn into a whole drawn-out, years-long regime change war, hundreds or thousands of American lives lost, thousands of civilians. That's not what it's turning into. But then you start hearing them talk about the regime in a way that makes you go, sounds like you're saying victory would be a regime change. But to achieve that, you'd need a lot of resources and a lot of human toll. And Now you're talking about needing a complete unconditional surrender. Well, now we really know that's not a quick, limited, isolated set of strikes. So once again, they're all over the place, which gives you even more reason for opposition and criticism. And then this is on the Russian coordination with Iran on striking American targets.
Have you communicated to the Russians not to send targeting information and other assistance to the Iranians?
Strongly said that.
And do you believe that they are?
I hope they're not.
Do you see any evidence?
We don't know, but it's not doing very well. If they are, it's not helping much. If you take a look at what's happened to Iran in the last week, if they're getting information.
So Witkoff just absolutely loves the Russian government. And so he gets asked there and is like, have you told Russia to not do that? And he goes, strongly. And then the reporter's like, so do you think they are assisting Iran? And Witkoff says, I hope not. What? No, what do you believe? Not what do you hope? What do you believe? And then another on that question.
If they're getting information, it's not helping them much.
What would it mean to you if they were? I mean, even if it's not helping the Iranians particularly much, it's still involving themselves in a conflict that they're not directly.
They'd say we do it against them, wouldn't they? Huh? Wouldn't they say that? We do it against them? I don't know. Look.
When they're invading our ally. So his how insane do you have to be as a U.S. president when you get intelligence that one of our major adversaries is assisting in getting our troops killed during a war, and your response is, well, I mean, hey, we're all doing it, right? Whose side are you on? What? You say you're so powerful, and it seems a lot of this war is about Trump demonstrating his own strength. But then you can't have one strong word to say about Russia. And then one other clip.
What are the circumstances where you'd send in ground troops? How are you thinking about that?
I don't even want to talk about it now. I mean, it's. I don't think it's an appropriate question. You know, I'm not going to answer it. Could there be? Possibly, for very good reason. Have to be very good reason. And I would say if we ever did that.
So we already saw Pete Hegseth and others Levitt not take boots on the ground off the table. The guys haven't heard this, maybe you haven't, but I did a breaking news segment about it. Levitt was asked by Maria Bartiromo about a draft and boots on the ground, and for both said, we're not taking our options off the table. And it's like, wait, what on earth happened to the No New Wars administration? Now you're talking about a draft? Now, I don't think she was serious about that, but was just trying to do the I'm not taking anything off the table type posture, but still disturbing. That would feel like the type of thing you could take off the table.